Hello everyone and welcome to Hate. Oh yes, we are covering the Marauder. God damn it, I hate the Marauder. I hate it so much. I've leveled 2 of them. Well, a Sentinel and the Marauder. But let's go into a little bit of detail about the Marauder. We'll start off positively. I think let's start positively. Let's not start with some hate. Let's start, we'll be positive about the Marauder. The Marauder is, I guess, the ultimate raid class in terms of DPS. You can't really beat a Marauder. Again, if you take a look at some of the data on some of the fights, there's a post on the official SWTOR forums that shows you the top DPS for Dread Fortress and Dread Palace 8-man hard mode. And if you look at the majority of those fights, if you look at the top 10 DPS, the majority of those boss fights have a Marauder in there somewhere. If you look at Grob Thok, as example, the post that was up at the time, it was 9 out of the top 10 classes were Marauders. Marauders or Sentinels, it's the same thing. Same thing really, but there were 9 out of 10. The fight where you just stand there and hit stuff. But again, certain fights suit certain classes more or less. So again, we never really take them too seriously, those kind of numbers, but the Marauder is always there, pretty consistent, the Marauder, and the Marauder is the class that you want if you're raiding. If you're running a progression run or anything like that, you need a Marauder. You need one Marauder in the party. As much as it pains me to say that as a healer, I hate healing Marauders. But you need one, okay, at least one, because of what they bring in terms of raid buffs. They bring so many buffs to a raid, it is insane. They are essential, really. Those little smash spammers. We may hate them, but, they bring so much. We have to admit that. What do they bring to a raid? Well, they bring a defensive cooldown and a speed boost, all in one. Comes in the one ability, it's Predication. They bring damage buff, Bloodthirst or Inspiration. Again, 15% damage for, 15 seconds, is it not? 15-20 seconds. Pretty nice, good in a burst phase. You tend to use it at the start of a fight if the fight lasts more than 5 minutes, because it has a 5-minute cooldown. But again, it's massive, 15% damage and 15% healing increase. So it is massive again for those burst phases that you need, or the burn phase, especially when you need a lot of healing. They do us a big favour, those Marauders, when we're healing, especially those hard mode ops. They really do shine under certain circumstances and certain situations. Sorry. Let's talk again. And if they are Annihilation or Watchman spec, they can bring a small heal, which got nerfed a long time ago. It used to be 1% health I think it was 1% health per tick of their burn or bleed attacks. Now it's 0.5% per tick of their burn or bleed attacks. But because again in that spec they can guarantee their burn attacks or bleed attacks, it's their dots basically, and that is the dot spec. Again, if you're choosing a raiding spec, you really got 2 choices really. You can have Carnage or Annihilation or Combat or Watchman, depending if you're a Sentinel or not. At the start of the expansion, when we looked at 2.0, when Rise of the Hutt Cartel first launched, you would say Combat was probably the superior spec at the beginning, because it was because of the changes that were made to accuracy in 2.0. Accuracy became a thing. Accuracy was a big thing. And again, the lightsaber form we got gave us an accuracy boost, and it was pretty crucial because Watchman spec, we stack crit. We stack crit like crazy in Watchman spec. We wanted those dots to crit because again, those dots, when they critted, self-healed us. So again, it gave us that bit more survivability in a spec that was quite low on survivability. So getting those dots when they critted to heal us was pretty crucial. We didn't really care about accuracy because accuracy was a bit of a joke before 2.0. It wasn't necessary. I think when you hit 50, you already had 100% melee accuracy. I think you had 100% force, and you didn't need any more than that, really. You didn't. You could reduce the target's chance to parry or the target's chance to resist an attack. I think PvP maybe you would look at it again, because we had things like parry and resist in PvP, but in PvE, not so much. 2.0 changed all that by giving, first of all, they lowered our default accuracy. Our default melee accuracy was 90% and our default force accuracy was 100%. Again, our accuracy caps that we want to reach is 100% melee, 110% force. So we suddenly found ourselves at level 55 saying, crap, we need accuracy. Which again, we got a 3% boost from the lightsaber form, from combat spec, or carnage spec if you were a marauder. And again, it did it kind of again because it's the worst DPS loss that we can suffer is a miss. That is the worst thing for DPS, is missing an attack is absolutely devastating to our overall DPS. That's why we always say every single DPS class in the game, when you're gearing, accuracy is your priority. Accuracy is your #1 stat. Get your accuracy capped and you'll never miss an attack. Focus on the other stats afterwards. Certain classes use stats in different ways, but we always focus on accuracy first. Accuracy is our first kind of secondary stat. We don't care what the other one is. Don't care about power. Don't care about crit. Don't care about alacrity. It's accuracy. Because if we miss an attack, if we miss, it's a disaster for us. We miss our dot. If our dot gets resisted, the initial dot, the initial damage that we put on, again, it's a complete disaster if we're doing dot spec. So again, the priority was accuracy. So again, we didn't have that accuracy because when we leveled from 50 to 55, we lost 10% of our accuracy. We also lost quite a lot of crit as well. So again, that kind of made combat became kind of, for a little while, it became the spec. If you look at it now, if you look at some of the data from what is it, Parsec, if you go there and look at some of the data, you'll see that they're kind of close right now. They're pretty close. Watchman maybe just edges it now that we've got our accuracy and we can get our crit up. Watchman spec just shades it. I think Watchman spec shades it, but they're pretty close. Both are viable. Both are viable. And we'll talk about the next spec, which is Rage or Focus. Rage and Focus, I like to go with this for leveling. I quite like this for leveling. Again, it's that AoE burst damage that we talk about. Those smash spammers, which got nerfed recently in 2.7, they can no longer crit smash as an AoE. Talked about that in a previous video for PvP, but again, I like to go with Focus is pretty good for leveling because most mobs that you get for leveling are they're mostly you get a strong with a few normal enemies or an elite with a few normal enemies. So it's nice just to charge at the strong enemy and then smash and then kill all of the normal enemies around. So you charge at the strong, smash, the AoE damage will hopefully kill all of the weaker enemies, because again, when you're specking that, you get your accuracy cap and then you go crazy with Surge. You OD on Surge. Surge, that's the spec, because again, those smashes are pretty, they're your biggest source of damage, those crit smashes. Tend not to use it in raiding because again, the boss isn't going to die from one crit smash. We're going to do massive damage and then in between it's kind of all filler, really. So that you can get away with it. You can get away with smash spec while raiding, but again, there is a sort of hybrid spec as well that some people like, which is the dot and the smash spec. But again, I prefer to go, I like combat. I think I've got used to combat, that's the thing. I don't really want to go back to Watchmen. I don't really want to go back. Again, I'm referring to everything by the Republic, the Sentinel terms, because that's what I leveled. That's what I leveled at first. That was the first class I leveled. I leveled this Marauder pretty recently. Got this Marauder to level cap. So all the terminology I don't really know, to be honest with you, with the Marauder. I just refer to everything by the Sentinel. So I always refer to it as combat, even though it's carnage, but it's the same thing. Functionally, it's the same thing. So again, let's talk about the negatives, and let's talk about the downside to the Marauder. Okay, one of the things is this is the worst class to level, I have to say. The absolute worst. And the reason for that is it's not our damage. Our damage output is fantastic, but we are made of paper. Let's be honest. We are absolutely the easiest class to kill in PvP, I always thought. Especially as a sniper. when I was a sniper, when I played PvP at endgame, when I did progression PvP, what I did was I played as a sniper, and killing a Marauder was so easy, so easy. We could do so much to them. 2.0 gave them twin saber throw to try and redress the balance, because they couldn't leap to us if we were in cover as a sniper, so we just used to push them back and then just nuke them, was our basic thing. Leg shot them so they can't get any closer to us, and then nuke them, basically. But again, they are made of paper. That's their biggest problem, and they do have some of the best defensive cooldowns in the game. They do have things like Cloak of Pain, it's a Marauder one, Saber Ward, and they have, what is it, Undying Rage. Undying Rage sacrifices 50% of your health, but gives you 99% damage reduction. So again, pretty nice. We save that for when we've got low health, generally. And you want a healer companion, or if you're in a group, you best hope the healer notices you've just used Undying Rage, and again, is going to heal you up pretty sharp, because again, you've got that 99% damage reduction, which is nice, but then you lose half your health. It's the only real defensive cooldown in the game that works like that. But again, the problem with this is for soloing, when we're just fighting regular mobs, is these are cooldowns, so these have very long cooldown times. There's some about 2 minutes is about the average for a cooldown. And again, we can't use these in every single fight, so again, we always have to rock with a healer companion generally. We can't really rock with a tank companion because we're going to get aggro. That's the big thing about the Marauder. And the biggest thing I hated about the Marauder was not so much playing as the Marauder, but healing the Marauders. That's why I started hating Marauders. Oh god, I mean, you'd have the worst case scenario as a healer when you queued for a flashpoint was overgeared DPS and a tank that was either undergeared or just about on the gear level. I hated that. It was always Marauders that were overgeared. We always got a Marauder, and they would always pull aggro, and they'd always complain, heal me now, heal me. God damn it, heal me. That's all you would get in chat. I remember playing once with, this was back before 2.0, we were doing the Black Talon, I was going to say the Essilus there, in hard mode. Black Talon hard mode, what a joke, with this Marauder who had full 63 gear. Remember that? 63 gear, the Hazmat, and what was it, Dreadguard? Was it Dreadguard? I think it was Dreadguard. Tier 63, best in slot back then. Best in slot gear. And said, I could solo this. He was just bragging about his gear. I could solo this. So he pulled the first boss, and naturally, a few minutes later, he died. He died. And I got a torrent of abuse. An absolute torrent of abuse. Where were my heals? I'm censoring myself, actually, here. Where were my heals? And he called me Gundick. Gundick. Yeah, Gundot was my mercenary's name. Gundick. God damn it. Where are my heals, Gundick? Noob healer. And I was like, you said you could solo it. You know, you're either soloing it, or I'm going to heal you. You know, you can't be soloing it if I'm healing you, can you? You're not soloing it then. That was my argument. He would always pull ahead of the tank. I hated Marauders after that. Hated them. He died 4 times. 4 times. I just let him die after that. And that's where I got my saying, let the Marauder die. That's what I do as a healer. Again, I've been killing Marauders. I've been letting them die for a long time now. Oh, I had to cleanse the Marauder? Oh, sorry. Missed it. Couldn't see it. Lag. Yeah, it was lag. Blame lag. That's why I didn't cleanse that Marauder. Screw it. So anyway, we're getting on a little bit. Getting off topic. We're getting to mercenaries. We're talking about Marauders here. So the Marauder is a very good class. I don't recommend it as a beginner class though. You're probably better off going for the Juggernaut or the Guardian. Again, they do less damage. They do have less raid utility at endgame. The only reason you'd pick a Marauder is to raid at endgame, really. I don't know what they're like in PvP now, since 2.7. It'd be interesting to see just how they perform. I'm not going to go do PvP with my Marauder. No way. I'm out of that. I am out of PvP as a Marauder because I hated PvP as a Marauder. Much better with a Guardian because again you've got that survivability as a Guardian. You've got that heavy armor. You've got better, I would say slightly better defensive cooldowns. Maybe you can argue, but again you've got that better sort of, you've got more mitigation more armor rating as a guardian naturally, and if you're a tank guardian, you can always tank as a guardian. That's the thing. As a marauder, you are forced to DPS. That's all you can do. You can't tank. You can try and tank. You can try your hardest to tank, but you'll die. And if I'm healing you, I'm gonna let you die, and I'm gonna laugh at you. I'm not gonna res you. I'm just gonna laugh at you if you do that. So yeah, that is all for this little video. Again, not really an underrated DPS, the Marauder. So next time, what will we take a look at next time? I think we'll go for our nemesis when it comes to DPS, our sniper or gunslinger. I don't know what to play. I might play my gunslinger because I haven't played him in months. Seriously, I have not logged him in months. So I might try my gunslinger out. So thank you for joining me for this little Marauder video. And if you're a Marauder and I'm healing you and I let you die, don't take it personally. I hate all Marauders. So thank you for joining me, and goodbye.